what you guys think about it. Also, we're going to get in some of the technical aspects in regards to going through, your CE certifications. That's continuing education, by the way, for everyone who doesn't know, and kind of what the Department of Real Estate in California is actually offering out. So it's going to be an incredibly interesting. And Michael and I have been kind of going over some of this stuff, and I'm very interested to kind of see how Michael's going to take this and disseminate it down, because he does such a phenomenal job at doing that. But with no less ado, Mr. Michael Fielden, how are you, buddy?
Good, Greg. Thanks for the introduction. It's kind of exciting to be here for the first time. We are going live. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. StreamYard is an amazing tool, and I'm going to test the mute option.
Thank God. All right, everybody. Now you have me. Okay. And Michael's back.
And we're back. I think this is a great tool for us, and I'm excited about what's to come. You're welcome to post comments, questions, anything you need, and we'll do our best to answer that. So, hey, I was telling Greg before our meeting, I got a letter from the Department of Real Estate actually this past weekend, and it says that my license is due for renewal, and it requires that I take some continuing education courses. Some of us take this over the period of the 5 years of our license. Some of us are going like I am, and we're doing everything at the last minute. And the first thing I did is what I always do. I went to my trusty friend Google, and I typed in the words that made sense to me, right? I typed in real estate continuing education courses in California, and I got a myriad of choices. I got Cap RE, I got CE Shop, Allied is a really popular one, Online Ed, First Tuesday is also real popular. And I scrolled down and I said to myself, okay, what's it going to take to get through this? You can put in your information, your license number, your name, and it tells me down here that I have a price point somewhere between $45 and $125. I'm like, that's not bad, right, Greg? I mean,
not bad. Not bad.
Some of us would pay more than that for, a good class now and again, but this is just something that we have to do to get through. Now, being a technical person, I don't need to go live. If you need to go live, you're going to have to search for something that goes live. But services like First Tuesday and Kaplan are going to offer online recorded solutions to get you through your continuing education. Okay, so great tools. But what if you don't want to do this? Greg, we talked about this, and I thought to myself, okay, there's got to be a better way. And I don't mind spending a little money here and there. But when I looked at this, the first thing I did is I went to CAR, California Association of Realtors. If you're listening from another association, check them out. And I said, okay, what does CAR have? Well, can you believe it? CAR's got a free training course. So you can go into CAR and take 45 hours of continuing education to renew your license. Okay. I don't know about you, Greg, but there's not much in my book that beats free.
Free is my best friend. And here's the interesting thing, Michael. You're a curious kitten. And you went out and did the research, and it was that couple of keystrokes. It's not where we're decoding ancient history here. Yeah. It is just going out and just being like, oh, I'm curious about this. And you found that it's free through your association, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you're already paying for the association. They're providing this to you, and they have so many tools there. So, Michael, walk me through what you found.
So what I did by scrolling down, so the first thing you're going to notice is you get the courses here. Okay, you've got to log in, so you've got to have an account with CAR. If you don't have one, they're going to help you make one. Your dues go to provide this service. So when Greg says you're already paying for it, you're already paying for this. And we're going to talk about some of the other things that you can get as well in just a minute. But as I scrolled down, I found that, hey, just recently we had to renew our code of ethics. You can take that here for free. Brokers, you can get renewals here online as well. And then as a salesperson in California, we have two different types of continuing education. The first is your first time renewal. It's a different set of education than subsequent classes. You literally just go in, you click on, in my case, I've been doing this a long time, subsequent, you log in, and then it's going to tell you what courses you need to take. Now, what I thought was really funny about
Wait.
this,
But back me up. I'm going to back you up here really quickly because I don't know this. You know this better than I do. So let's hit subsequent really quickly. And so, are you saying like where you're lacking, like what courses you should take, or what they recommend you should take, or just kind of overall blanket of everything?
so these courses and subsequent training that you see here are what I have to take to reach that 45 hours.
Fascinating.
Okay. And this is the list. The list of your first time, which I can't do anymore, is different. You get some choices, you get some emphasis, but here's what I have to go through. And you'll notice it says not starting. I don't have to do it in any specific order.
So what we're seeing on the screen right now, we just see the main screen that you originally were showing. I'm not seeing any additional courses that we could look at.
Oh, well, that would explain why. Sorry about that, Rick. So you don't get it? You don't see the list? Come on.
No, don't see the
Sorry
list.
about that,
I was kind of waiting for that.
This page.
But here's the thing about this is that the point of the, oh wow, damn, there they are. But the thing is that it's bone-numbingly simple on how folks, you guys can go in there and you can get the exact information you need to adhere to, so you're in compliance with your brokerage, with your license, so on and so forth, so you don't fall out of it. I had a good friend of mine who consistently would not get his license re-upped, to the point where we found out that he was working for 6 months without a license. And I'm not using names, but when I talked to this individual, I was like, oh my goodness, like what planet do you live on when you don't go through your CE courses? Like, come on, man, screw your head on. So this makes it easy. So again, I cut you off. My apologies.
Yep. So you can go through here. You notice your credits are approximate hours. I mean, this is like college, right? You're going through and you're getting to the 45 hours by taking these courses. Now, one of the things that I would say is you can take your CE over the 5-year license period. You don't need to wait until the last minute like me. Okay. And you will see a lot of people that are doing training in your offices or your local associations are offering CE credits if you take their seminar.
Mhm.
So if you become, a senior specialist, that's CE credits that you can get along there, and that reduces your workload here.
The fascinating thing, I'm reading through these different courses that are available. The advanced contract law, the one at the very top, that fascinates me because there are so many intricate parts of our real estate contract. And when Michael and I worked at the same company together for 20 years, I would walk into Irene, who was our controller. She was a spitball of a human being. I mean, she would tear you up and spit you back out. But
Yep.
I mean, she would break down the contract law so fast, and I'm like, so what you're telling me is, she's like, Greg, no, you don't understand this. You have to understand this. I'm like, oh my God, I am so up a creek without a paddle. But advanced contract law, I'm going to take that course. I honestly think that's a really cool one.
Yeah.
Really cool one.
Yeah, and you should take that course. And you know what we should do, and I know she would love going on live, is we should bring Irene
She
on.
wouldn't. She'd kill us.
We don't have to tell her it's live. Just tell her she's only got 10 minutes because it could be a long show. But it's always a great resource to have people that understand the contract in the back of your pocket.
Mhm.
And I think that it's important, to realize that even this 4-credit advanced contract law, that's not what people need, Greg. This gives them just a primer. You still have
Yes.
to stay educated, stay current, and listen to your compliance and your risk management teams so that you don't get yourself in trouble. I think the big one that's going to be coming up is this disclosure obligations.
Yeah, it's
With
huge.
all the fires and stuff, Greg, can you imagine?
Oh, dude. I've been having a lot of conversations with buyers and sellers and other agents, and the fact, like, dude, like nobody in California wants to buy in California anymore because the disclosures, the issues, the insurance problems, the taxes, and getting people to understand the disclosures is paramount. So they really understand and bite in and buy in on what they're doing. I mean, their money's going to go to some place. You might as well just tell them where it's going.
Yeah.
And that makes you a professional, by the way, not an amateur.
Yeah, 100%. Now, one of the interesting things, if you remember back to the Google search, one of the providers for continuing education is Online Ed. They're a big provider of different online education. And that actually, when you scroll up here, is who CAR has partnered with to provide you this education. So you're getting something that you could buy somewhere else for free. Really, really powerful way to get the stuff that you want without spending a lot of money. And speaking of that, Greg, we kind of touched on this earlier. I'm gonna jump off of the Online Ed here and go back to.
So let me, as you're doing that, let me ask you a question. You are more than a little tech savvy. I mean, you're probably one of the most tech guys I've ever met. I mean, RE Geeks is your company. I mean, you guys help people like myself, with technology and making it simple and realtor proof, right?
Yep.
And so, is there? Let me rephrase that question. Are there any other resources besides the one we just spoke about that provide free education for agents who want to kind of get their toes dipped in the deep end of the pool? Or is this kind of the main go-to?
Well, depending on what state you're in, the association is going to be the big one. The other one is NAR, right? If you're not
NAR is
taking
awesome.
advantage of all the stuff that NAR has to offer, and we touched on this on our last show. NAR RPR, National Association of Realtors, Realtor Property Resource, should be one of those tools that you use almost every day. And I know that's like, God, why would I do that? I'm telling you guys, there aren't better tools out there from a technical standpoint that you can use for, and I'm going to call it free. Your donation, your dues go to that, but they have stuff that you just can't touch anywhere else. Last week we talked about the scripting, but you can do CMAs, you can do prospecting. Okay, there's a ton of research here. Let's say you want to do some, commercial stuff. They now offer commercial. These are things that you don't get access to anywhere else. And they're in essence free. And the best part about this is they have an app on both iOS and Android that you can use. And this is the kind of tool that's going to make you the expert at whatever you're doing.
So with that in mind, I have mine right here. And so I'm not logged in right now, but I mean, I'm with EXP naturally. But in my real estate section here, I have all my different fun apps. And then you can see RPR right there. It is hands down one of the biggest game changers when it comes to anything else, because you go to market trends. So let me give you an address: 144 Iron Gate Court, Alamo, California, right? And we can just type in 94507. Doesn't really matter. We can look at the market trends so that if you're out with a client, all of a sudden are a genius. You see where the boundaries are, you see what's active. We can look at what's pending, just sold, so on and so forth. And you can look at all this data real time, or you can cancel that and you can draw a circle on your right hand side that says draw. And you're like, okay, well, I'm going to draw this area, right? And all of a sudden, you're like, okay, well, I'm in this neighborhood. that neighborhood, whatever it is, but it's relevant to the client, not relevant just to you as a professional. See? Yeah,
Greg,
radius on that thing. How
I can't.
cool is that? I mean, that's instant gratification in regards to, content and data that you can then relay out. You can create reports, and then send it out to your clients going, oh my God, well, you like this house at 123 Main Street. Take a look at this report I just drew with a quarter mile, half a mile, 1 mile, 2 miles, 5 miles, whatever the number is, right? It's an unbeatable. They put a couple hundred million into this thing, I think. And it's worth every single cent. I mean, unbelievably awesome.
Yeah, they have put a ton of money. And here's kind of a sample. So the first thing I would tell you, full branding. So you get all the options, put yourself out there. It's going to tell you what's going on. Median home value, because I circled the sticks.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter.
Oh, and these are the samples anyway. Sorry. So we're looking at Westland, Oregon. But you go through and it's going to walk you through all of this stuff. And these are really powerful tools that you get access to for free. Now, Greg, it just so happens that, I use this almost every day, and I look at buyers and sellers, and I send out a packet to people, and it's, full color where it's available. It's printed, it's neat, it's organized. I put a nice little cover letter, a business card, and I throw these out to people that I think are likely to sell. It does cost me about $4 to get it there if I'm sending it via the mail. Okay, I put it in a 9x12 envelope, but really, really powerful. I get calls, I get inquiries. Does it all become business? Absolutely not. But it starts a relationship and it starts a conversation. And that's what we're here trying to do.
And you know what? The good thing about that, Michael, is that in California, that's kind of how we roll, right? We send out a packet and stuff like that. I call my phone assassins, guys around the country that we do cold calls together, and we're doing anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 calls per person per day. And what they do in like the Midwest and the South and East Coast, it's still a thing out in those neck of the woods to send out a not a postcard, excuse me, a business card with a magnet on the back so you can throw it up on the refrigerator. Now, here in California, that doesn't really fly all that much because a lot of people have wood refrigerator fronts or something along those lines, so nothing can stick to it, right? But figure out what makes the most sense for your marketplace and then take advantage of the tools that are readily available to you. There's another one called MLS Tax Suite. That in our MLS, well, in the Bay Area's MLSs, it is a phenomenal resource of data. And I will take an MLS tax suite report. I'll take the RPR report. And then I'll take a title, I'll just download the title information and I'll put it all into one package and I'll bring it out to my clients. People are blown away by the data. And guys, it's all free. It is all free for you. You have to learn where to look for this stuff. So Michael, what's another one of your favorite kind of tools and tactics?
So I want to go back and talk a little bit about CAR real quick since we were there, and just make sure that you guys know, and Greg, we touched on this briefly. There's a full education section for you in CAR, so you can get designations, certifications, and they've got a full course calendar. But there's also these marketing tools that are free to you to use anytime you want right up here. And, when we click on this, you can have, down payment resources, infographics, tax reform. Real big one here in California right now is fire insurance.
That's huge.
Okay.
It's huge.
This is huge. But if we look at these infographics as kind of low-hanging fruit, I hear every single day, Michael, you keep telling me to get on social media and do something. I have nothing to talk about. Okay. These infographics are what you can talk about, right? So here we have, affordability, buyer snapshot. So if we look at, a seller snapshot in 2024, Greg, can you talk about these things?
Well, here's the interesting part is that I would not have these numbers at the top of my mind immediately, but being able to pull this up and do a 60-second little blurb on Facebook stories, Instagram stories, or reels, or whatever you want to call them, and you can pop out these quick little tidbits and then bring them back to your YouTube channel or back to your Facebook page. We can go deeper on stuff. This, if you're a buyer or a seller, right? This is very, very sexy and very, very pertinent. So my girlfriend and she's looking at a new car, right? And she's looking at different vehicles, different brands, and she went to multiple different resources to compare and contrast. Imagine being Google for real estate to the consumer that's looking to buy, sell, rent, or invest in one spot, and you don't have to do the research. It's already done for you. That's the beautiful part about this. Post this on your social media pages. Let people know that you are a real estate professional. You do this on a daily basis. This is how you make your living. This is how you provide for your family, right? And it's right there. A lot of us just don't know about it.
Yep. Now, I want to talk. I know we've got about 10 more minutes left here, and I want to talk about this in two ways. One, I want to make sure that everybody here knows that as we look at this seller snapshot, if you have a marketing department that's working with you already, you could come in here, you could put your photo in this circle instead of what's there. You can break it up to what matters the most for you. But I also think it's important that we educate ourselves as agents and we can use this information. Now, this is 2024 seller snapshot. And Craig, what do you pull out of this when you think about what I get as the number one question from non-buyers and sellers is, what are you doing to earn your money? Okay. When I look at this, they're telling me the top 5 services sellers want. So if somebody says, why am I paying you so much? You can look right at this, Greg, and say, well, 32% of the people that were surveyed about the services we offer like the fact that I'm actually going to be negotiating the price and terms of your home so that you don't have to be a part of that, right? You just get to make the decisions and I get to be the good or the bad guy in this process.
It goes deeper than that. Here's the reason why. So I use myself as a human billboard, as you guys can tell from my hat that it says you want to buy a house, right? I wear all kinds of clothing like that around. So people they start conversations with me. And so if I was, Michael and I met at a diner or a bar or a coffee house, whatever else, and he's like, oh my God, so you sell real estate? I'm like, yeah. Well, tell me about the market. Your first response is, well, are you thinking about buying, selling, renting, or investing? You don't say the market's great because it's never great for both sides. It's just not going to happen. They're like, well, it's an interesting area. I mean, tell me a little bit about it. I say, well, the median age of the individuals in 2024 was about 60 years. 46% of or folks are thinking about buying or selling other properties. The average hold time is about 13 years, which is up from 7 years. But in the average median income is about $120,000. The ethnicities, vary across the board based upon your geographic location. I mean, what are you guys thinking about doing? Now, what did you just then? You just gave stats that were factually based, and it made you sound very intelligent in regards to the fact that you're not guessing, you're reading what NAR has put together for you, National Association of Realtors, guys. You don't have to second guess any of this stuff. It's just there. Just keep a couple of stats in the back pocket when you're talking to folks.
Yeah.
And you're going to be able to get conversations going like, did you know that you're 46% likely to buy or sell another property in the next year? I am. Yeah. Did you actually know that the average occupants in a property are only 2 people? What? Yeah. And then the conversation starts. Where would you guys like to go? If you were to move, where would you move? In town or out of town? In state, out of state? If I could put a bag of cash at your feet right now, what number would be in that bag that would entice you to potentially sell? $1 billion. Okay. Well, sir, you live in a 1-bedroom, 1-bath condo. I don't think that's going to be realistic this year, but let's talk about a real number. Okay, like 400 grand. Okay, fine. Good. Bing, bang, boom. we're out the door. Now you have the stats. You've already proven yourself as a professional. I would study the stuff. Honestly, it's not hard to remember all of these numbers, but that's what I would do, Michael.
Nope. So I have a little anecdote. Do you remember the first time we talked about cold calling in this discussion?
Yeah, I do.
Do you remember where?
Probably in your office.
Nope. It was at a little restaurant in Danville that I was not familiar with. And the restaurant is called Pete's Brass Rail and Car Wash.
Pete's Brass Rail and Car Wash, which there's no brass rail, there's no car wash. And who the heck is Pete?
So I drove around Danville looking for a freaking car wash for a very, very, very long time. There is literally no car wash. And if what I understand is correct, there never was a car wash.
What?
Was there ever a car wash?
No, never. That's
Never.
what their shirts say. Like, there's no car wash, there's no brass rail, and who the hell is Pete? Because there's
Okay.
no Pete.
The no Pete doesn't bother me. The
It
car
cracks me
wash
up.
thing, when you're driving around trying to find a freaking car wash. But anyway, I
did
feel
not
like
know
there's so much more that we could talk about, but I don't want this to go too long, and we've got to have a rehash at the end. I think what I'd like to get out of this is the fact that there are some free tools out there.
Mhm.
If you're wondering what value you get out of this 30 minutes, it's, hey, check out Car, check out NAR, go to Etsy and get yourself a, do you want to buy a house cap, and start marketing your business, right? Because not everybody is like Greg in the cold calling assassins, where they're going to make 5,000 phone calls in a day.
Mhm.
Okay. And yeah, some of those aren't going to be completed. They're using dialers and they've got technology to do this. But at the end of the day, are you calling 5,000 people? I'm not calling anybody, right? Because I don't want to cold call.
Well, Michael, if we have to give context to that comment, when I was the head trainer of our past brokerage, you asked me, Greg, how do I get business? And I told you what to do, and you tell me what you did.
Greg told me to pick up 25 business cards, just 25. And he says, go walk the neighborhood and don't come back until you got rid of these 25 cards. Okay. So I started. First door, nobody home. Second door, nobody home. I'm like, shit, I can do this. Third door, some mature gentleman. I started my spiel. Hey, I'm Michael Fielden with real estate company. And, just wanted to let you know I'm in the neighborhood, see if you had any questions about the market. And he didn't say a word. He just slammed the door in my face. So now I'm crying on the porch. I still have 25 business cards, but the good news is it's Tuesday. And in my neighborhood where I was, Wednesday is trash day. So people were putting their trash bins on the street as I'm walking around. I took my 25 cards and I dropped them in the first bin I walked by. And that was my last effort at cold calling.
Or door knocking, but same difference.
Cold
Prospecting.
prospecting. It's any cold calling. I don't like the rejection. Okay. It's much easier for me working with my sphere of influence. I probably don't do as much business as Greg, but it's a business that works for me. And I have a side business that brings about, I'm going to put my shameless banner on the bottom. I have a side business that generates revenue. And so real estate is not my prime business. What I do with Greg is we give back. We're about focusing on how do we help agents get their business to the next level. And we're really excited to direct you over to livingthebusiness.com is our training website where you can subscribe. Oh, it's the dog. Where you can subscribe and participate in online training. Really good resource for anyone that's looking to take their business to the next level. Now,
Yeah, I completely, and this is not a plug for him, but it is something that I have experienced in my own personal life. I got a new computer, but one of my computers just took a dump on me. And so I'm like, Michael, I called him up, I'm like, dude, bro, I'm so up a creek without a paddle. Like, I need some help. He's like, hold on, give me a login. So I gave him a login to access to my computer. He dragged all of my content, all of my files, everything over, all my settings perfectly done. And it landed in this new computer, which I'm shooting on right now. And it took maybe 15 minutes because I have a lot of files there. And it dragged it all over. And it was the same layout, same setup. It is invaluable to have that resource around you, because when the stuff hits the fan, you got to have someone in your corner. So Support Geeks, guys, go check them out. Take a look, take a gander. I will use them for as far as I can see in the future. So just shameless plug for you, brother.
all right, you opened. Want to close?
All right. So let's do this, gentlemen and ladies. Guys, I want you to follow us, RE Geeks. This is our show. We're going to be putting content out there. So I'm going to be the real estate agent, kind of talking about facts, like what's going on in the market, what's going on in the industry. Michael is going to be our tech guy, who's going to talk about his experience as a real estate agent, and his professional, his full-time gig is doing the technology side, which, let's be honest, we all need a Michael in our lives. So stay tuned, share this program, share this episode with somebody. And if you guys like it, give us a smile, give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. It really helps our channel out. But you know what? Until next time, peace out, ninjas.
Take care, guys. Have a great day.